So I'll wait for 2 minutes to wait for more friends and more Xenoware users to get online. And then we will start today's discussion about what does a great sleep mean to you. Okay, so we will start. So actually, last 1.5 month, I have been on a very tight business trip. I have visited, let me think, 4 countries, including China, 5 countries, and 8 cities. I crossed 7 time zones. And yes, I met more than 100 doctors, therapists, and our direct users. It's a very busy and tight schedule for me to cross 7 time zones. And very good thing is I still maintain quite good sleep quality. So how did I sleep through all of it? How did I sleep through all the 7 time zones from Shenzhen to US to Los Angeles to New York, from New York back to China, and from China to Australia to Melbourne to Sydney, and from Sydney back to China, and then from Hong Kong to Europe. I visited Croatia and Switzerland. So basically, it's a very long journey. Next part, stay tuned for 30 minutes. I'll introduce how did I sleep through all of it without sleeping pills, no melatonin, and no one on the plane. So today's topic will be, what does a great sleep mean to you? And I'm Dr. Jane Zhao. I'm the co-founder and chief scientist of Xenowell. And today I'll follow a 5-pillar framework actually I established, building upon Dr. Rangan Chatterjee's 4-pillar framework. In his 4-pillar framework, he mentioned that sleep, stress, food or nutrition, and proper exercise are the 4 fundamental things for longevity. But for me, I added another pillar, connection. I think the connection with ourselves, with others, and with nature is also another fundamental pillar for the preventive care for our longevity. So today we will focus on sleep because it is the pillar actually let the other 4 hold. Today we'll talk about what is sleep and what is great sleep, and what does great sleep mean to you, mean to our stress, mean to our food, nutrition, digestion, and mean to our exercise recovery, mean to our connection, mean to everything in our daily life, and how to build our great sleep with the mini practices I'll introduce mainly in today's webinar to help us rebuild a good sleep or great sleep. So the first question would be, how do we know that it is a good night or it is a good sleep? Was it 8 hours on our tracker? Or is it the score that actually flashes green? Or the way that we felt actually after wake up in the morning? Just like this figure show here. So on June 12th, I scored 76. And then on June 18th, I scored 99, almost 100, total by Whoop, right? So I'm not sure whether you guys also use Whoop to track you guys sleep conditions or sleep scores. So here, because of the sleep consistency is a bit different here, then I score differently. So what does that mean? And also for the another wearable I wear, the Orange. So for one day I sleep 69 and the other day I score 89 because of the REM sleep and the deep sleep is different. So how does that mean? So does that all related to a great sleep? So the next part is, what is sleep? And what is great sleep? Why I score one day 69 and the other day 99, almost 100. Actually, sleep is a very complex thing in our daily life. It is not just like we knock down, we lie down, and without any consciousness of or awareness of the whole world. Actually, in order to form a good sleep, there are two processes run every day or run in our daily life. It is called two process model. I highly recommend all of you guys, if you haven't read this book, While We Sleep, you can actually spend some time to read it, not before sleep. And there's a two process model introduced in this book. One process is called sleep pressure, and the other process is called circadian process. Actually, sleep pressure told us or tells us that you are sleepy. Your brain tells the brain it's sleepy. You need sleep. You are already sleepy. And the circadian is the timing. The brain is telling it's time to go to bed. It's time to sleep. Actually, in our daily life, we have been interacting with these two processes a lot. We drink coffee. Most of us drink coffee regularly. We drink coffee to mask this process. We want to trick our brain to let our brain to be like that. It's not sleepy. And also I'm not sure whether you guys actually actually 2 or 3 years ago, I also tried melatonin for me to shift the time zone when I travel to other places, which has different time zone from the time zone in Shenzhen. Actually, for melatonin, it is kind of to shift the circadian timing to trick the brain, oh, it's the right time to for us to sleep. So we already know them. We just don't know what's happening behind these two processes. Just like what I said, sleep is not shut down. You are not just like lying there without knowing anything. Your brain is still functioning, but it is working differently. There are four states actually our brain cycles through. It is working very, if I would say, efficiently and also working quite hard for some stages. Like for example, the REM stages, your brain is working fully actually. It contains 4 to 6 times a night, containing one with every cycle is about 90 minutes, containing N1, N2, N3, and REM stage. From the light entering of the sleep to the light sleep to the deep sleep, and also to including the dreaming of the sleep. So in order to get know more about what is good sleep, we need to understand the quality and the quantity. A lot of us know that we need to have enough sleep duration, at least 7 hours or at least 8 hours. So duration matters. Actually, efficiency also matters. It is how much time you spend in bed and how much time you actually spend actually asleep. So 85% of it is good. And also the latency, how much time you fall asleep. Too long is not good. For example, longer than 30 minutes, not good. Too short is not good. Actually, I noticed that several days after I finished my business trip. I came back Shenzhen and Hong Kong. I found that there are several days I only need 2 to 3 minutes to fall asleep. Actually, that is not a good signal. It is telling my body or telling me that I may be too tired. I need to have more time to recover. I may need to spend some time to recover better, to take care of my recovery by doing some other things, other mini practices I can do in daily life in order to make the time latency a bit longer. And another part is the continuity. So when you wakening longer than 5 minutes and less than 20 minutes is not good. Longer than 20 minutes may be a signal that you don't have a continuous sleep. So all of this actually combining quantity and quality, both ideally, is good. So how to measure it? We know of the targets. We know what are the features or the index actually telling it is good sleep or it's not bad or it's bad sleep. In the lab or in sleep lab or in hospital, actually usually doctors or the researchers use PSG to measure the sleep. The most important tool here is called EEG. EEG is kind of non-invasive way. You wear a cap or the helmet, just like this figure. Actually, this is me 10 years ago in the lab. I'm wearing the EEG cap in the lab to measure my EEG signal, the brain signal, the electrical signal coming out from the cortex, from the neurons, and we measure it from the scalp to identify the N1, N2, N3, and REM stages of our sleep. So today, not everyone can go to sleep lab or go to hospital to measure the different kind of stages of sleep or different kind of features of sleep. Nowadays, more and more wearables are available actually, just like the figure of Whoop or the figure of Orange I just showed. So it is most of the wearables actually are using PPG or MU, combining the sensors that can measure skin temperature or the SpO2 to infer or to calculate with the algorithm to tell people about the total sleep time, the efficiency, the latency, and the time that you wake up, and how is the full stage situation, the percentage for the light sleep, deep sleep, and the REM staging. It also infer or calculate some features called readiness or recovery from the measurements to tell how you feel, actually to tell you how you feel after wake up in the morning. What would be the situation in the daytime after the sleep by measuring this, by calculating, by combining the sleep scores, HRV, resting heart rate, and other features that can be measured from the wearables. Actually, wearables and the PSG are two ways of looking at the same night. For the sleep and wake, we can trust the wearable with around 90 to 95 sensitivity. But for the full stage classification, we can trust 70 to 80% of it. I think the most important part is to trusting the trend. In order to find out some diagnostic features of sleep, it is better to use PSG, to try it in the lab and being diagnosed by researcher or by professional or by doctors. So a wearable will not diagnose you, but it can track and may support us to understand and improve our daily life in the future. We need to trust the trend. Just like the score here, 87 only tell 1 point of my sleep situation. It may have some error. It may not be very representative of the night, may including some calculation error or some error that due to some environment or due to the limitation of the wearable. But the trend is very important. If I can consistently see this kind of improvement trend of my sleep, then I can see that maybe I am doing something good for my sleep in my daily life to help me feel better and also help me to improve my sleep situation. So here is a short introduction about what is sleep and what is good sleep, or what are the features that actually can represent a good sleep. The next part is about, the part 2 is about what does great sleep mean to you. This sentence is very easy to understand, and also it's kind of common sense to all of us. It is a statement from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. Sleep is essential to health. Sleep is essential to daytime function, to long-term health, even to mortality and to safety. So we actually heard so many cases, the driving crashes just due to lack of sleep. So later part, I will introduce or try to, because from my own understanding, just apart from researchers' perspective, I try to understand what would be the good things for good sleep for my daily life. I try to understand from the 5-pillar theory that I established what can be good things brought by good sleep for stress, for the digestion or the nutrition or food nutrition, or for the exercise, or even for the connection, for the self connection or the social connection. Actually, bad sleep, if we are talking about, if we haven't tried to aware that the good sleep, the benefit of good sleep for stress, then I think most of us totally have already experienced bad sleep, or the influence of bad sleep on our stress. Actually, both objective and subjective sleep loss can amplify the stress level the next day by the manipulation of the cortisol level. The poor sleep, such as the reduced sleep duration, the fragmented sleep, or the insufficient deep or REM sleep, can actually mess up of our HPA axis and then make our baseline cortisol level responses higher. This kind of larger cortisol surge can make us easy to be irritated in daily life. So we feel very grumpy, and it's usually easy to be angry by many small things. The other actually highly related function is actually our gut function, or the digestion of the food. Actually, our gut also keeps our sleep schedule too. If we sleep well, good sleep can actually shape the microbiome. A single night of partial sleep loss actually can influence the gut microbiome composition, and the chronic loss of sleep can reduce the diversity of the microbiome. The microbiome actually also shapes our sleep. A lot of studies focusing on the gut-brain axis try to understand the neurotransmitter, the microbiome, and the sleep situation, because our gut and our brain is highly connected by a very important nerve called the vagus nerve, just like the figure shown here. So the vagus nerve connecting all the gut organs with the brain. So the brain is sensing everything happening in the gut. And then this kind of signal will definitely influence the sleep. It is a two-way interaction. So insomnia is linked to a lot of gut-related issues. And the recovery is a very popular term now, because of a lot of wearables are talking about recovery after exercise. Actually, recovery is not happening in the gym. It is happening during your sleep. So a good sleep can improve performance. For example, in this study done in Stanford, the basketball player, if they have better sleep, let's say for 5 to 7 weeks, it can help them obtain faster sprint times, increase their accuracy of during playing basketball. If the athletes with poor sleep, it will also reduce the mass protein synthesis, and even influence the hormone related conditions, and reduce the neuromuscular output, and even increase the sports injury risk. I'm not sure whether you guys are watching football, the World Cup these days. I think for 4 of them, they definitely spend a lot of resources on how to build good sleep. And for them, sleep is the foundation for obtain great performance actually in the season. And the next part is about connection. I think connection nowadays, I think sleep is the foundation of the 5 pillars, but the connection actually is important tool, and it's the core actually bring all of us together. Because of the connection with you guys, I'm here today. Because of the connection of my brain to my body, I can maintain a energetic way to introduce all the sleep related knowledge or skills to you guys. But if I didn't get a good sleep yesterday, actually I may perform quite bad and to influence the connection with you guys. So a bad sleep actually leads to bad connection. For example, small irritations feel large and always maintain or stick with the negativity bias to let all the good news actually slice away. Your attention focused on the negative thing because of your amygdala is working not properly. And bad sleep also make you always feel like a dumb responses to other people. You always have flight effect after bad sleep and less reward from the things we really enjoy, and it will make us retreat from others, show this kind of social withdrawal symptom. And the conversations with other people will cost more energy than usual. So it is quite bad for this social connection and the connection to ourselves. So it will weaken our body to brain signal and to let our amygdala happen fires. Amygdala is a very important brain region. So when you find that something is negative, is very dangerous, this brain region will activate it. So if we don't get enough sleep, this region just it does not function well, and it is highly active, make us always angry about a lot of things or feel negative a lot of things, and we retreat, and also other people in the social environment will sense it. So a tired brain actually read the whole world as unsafe. And the final part is how to build our own great sleep, not through a prescription, not through medication, but I think it is a loop. It is a daily loop we can run every day, every week. Every day we run it, every 1 to 2 weeks we check it. So how to do it? Actually, I integrate all of these small tricks or all of these things during my business trip. I tested. I think all of them help me to face the challenges I had during the business trip, for the time zone change, even for the season change, and for dealing with the different kind of challenges for every event I face in US, in Australia, and in Europe. So before we go to the one by one mini practice, I would like to introduce a very famous therapy called CBTI therapy. So what is CBTI? It is named as cognitive behavioral therapy. I think a lot of you guys may already know about this term. So in CBTI, recommended by AMSM and the European Sleep Research Society, it is highly emphasized on the stimulus control. So you only use the bed for sleep. I think all of us kind of addicted to the internet, to AI, to all the blue screens, and then we play the smartphone in the bed. But actually, in order to have good sleep, it is better to maintain the bed only for sleep, and get up if we can't fall asleep. Go to the dinner room or go to somewhere to play the smartphone, and then sleep restriction. So we need to compress the time in sleep for our actual sleep time, then gradually extend to rebuild the sleep pressure I just mentioned earlier. And another is cognitive therapy to identify and challenge some thoughts about sleep. And the fourth one is the relaxation training. I think our products, the taVNS, vagus nerve stimulation, is a very good relaxation tool for the relaxation training for sleep. also including the muscle relaxation, the breathing, the body scanning, all of these kind of meditation related practices. But the most important thing I want to mention here is the sleep hygiene in our daily life. All the mini practices I just mentioned or introduced, I benefit a lot from all of these sleep hygiene or mini practices in my daily life. So in short, less time lying awake, less anxiety about sleep, a regular rhythm, and the bed back as a sleep cue. What actually change our sleep in daily life, or what are the mini practices related? It is related to light, temperature, caffeine, timing, stress, or an autonomic nervous system, alcohol, anything that can happen in our daily life. So from open eyes to deep sleep, from 6:30 a.m. to 3 a.m., what we can do to help us to get a great sleep. So first, I just use my own case because I'm not a early person, but before my business trip, I usually get up at around 7 a.m. or 6:30 to 7 a.m. So I think the first recommendation for the mini practice is the sunlight and then water. So after you wake up, the first thing is not go to check your phone for the blue light. Just go outdoors or even go to the balcony if you cannot go outdoors. Even on a cloudy day, you just try to enjoy the sunlight, the natural light, to regulate your SCN, to anchoring your circadian clock to this moment. So your brain know that you are waking up, and then drink a full glass of water. So always sunlight first to prepare the day, to refresh the day, to reset the clock, the circadian, or rebuild the pressure for the sleep pressure for the day. Or the most important part is to rebuild your own cortisol, natural cortisol level for the day, not just by other things. And the next part is I will recommend to walk for 15 to 30 minutes. Usually I can have this kind of habit because I have a dog. Some of you may know her name is 15. I always work her for 10 to 15 minutes outdoor. And then I can also enjoy the light. I can enjoy the sunshine for another 15 minutes. And a 2025 study, actually meta-analysis, have found that 30 minutes of morning outdoor light actually brought bedtime forward by around 1 hour. I can also, after half hour outdoor, I hold caffeine for another 1 hour, actually not for 90 minutes, but for another 1 hour. And then I start drink my coffee, my morning coffee. It's kind of a habit. I cannot quit coffee. The coffee actually make me not just energetic, but also happy, actually, I would say. It's a good way to restart the day. It's kind of routine for me. But the coffee, it has some disadvantage. Is the half-life. The half-life is long, so not recommend to drink coffee in the afternoon after 2 p.m. If you drink the coffee one espresso, it will live in the brain until to 10 p.m. to trick your brain that you are not sleepy, to make you to mask the pressure for sleep. So practical rule: last caffeine by around 2 p.m. and do not drink it after that. Around 1 p.m. or before 1 p.m., we can actually take a short nap, but not after 3 p.m., especially during weekend. Try not to take a long nap after 3 p.m. It will mess up our sleep pressure, actually. And keep the nap as short, not too long, around less than half hour would be good. And the next part is about the dinner. Actually, dinner is super important. I think I benefited a lot from the controlling of my dinner actually these days, especially during the business trip. I tried my best to skip the food on the flight actually, because I think the food on the flight is high in sugar, and also the fat, the sugar is not low GI food, is the high GI, actually it's the high GI food, and it is with low protein, not healthy fat. So for the dinner, highly recommend to eat um, low GL food and with good protein and healthy fat first, and then fiber to avoid refined carbs and alcohol close to the bed, especially alcohol. Actually, another thing I would love to share is these days I started to monitor my blood glucose through a CGM on my arm. Actually, I put a CGM here. I try to measure my blood glucose continuously, and I also wear you guys know that I also wear a lot of wearables. So with our own AI platform, I can build the relationship between my blood glucose, my sleep score, my HRV, my heart rate in 24 hours actually. So I can rebuild the relationship what I ate and what is my the heart situation or heart rate variability situation, and my sleep situation, and what is the correlation between the blood glucose and the all of these features in order to help me to have a better recovery or better sleep. And a warm bath. Actually, in our WhatsApp community, already some of the community members mentioned that on what if you don't sleep well, whenever you can't fall asleep or have the difficulty to fall asleep, you would take a warm bath. So that is a very good trick or very good habit integrated in daily life in order to shorten the time to fall asleep. The reason behind or the science behind that is actually during the sleep, our core body temperature need to drop to 1 to 2 degree, and it is the signal actually the brain uses to initiate sleep. If we take a warm bath, actually the vessel will be the it will make our blood vessel actually dilates. The heat dilates our skin blood vessel, and then the heat will go out, and then the blood rushes to the periphery and release cold heat. This kind of process will make the body temperature drop a bit faster. Then the brain know that you need to initiate the sleep. So it is a good habit. Another part is super important is about the light. So try to maintain the light to be dim and warm and low light. Evening light actually suppresses melatonin onset. Oh, it suppresses the circadian processes I just mentioned at the very beginning. So it's better to switch off all the overhead lights and to make to keep the light as low as possible. The goal is not to zero light, but it is less light and warmer light and light below eye level. So our SCN can read evening instead of the midday. So it can tell the brain it is the time to sleep. And another important thing is many people these days like to such as playing to watch all the social media, or to scroll the TikTok or the Instagram to watch a lot of small videos. All of these kind of things make people very energetic or excited, and it will keep the brain highly active, and sometimes even increase the cognitive load. So before bedtime, we can highly recommend to read some boring book for 10 to 15 minutes, but not in the bed. You can read in another room, and to keep the cognitive low. No email, no news. Just maintain a boring thing. After you feel that you are a little bit sleepy, Then you go to the bedroom, because that is the place your brain should know that it is the place you go to bed. So stimulus control therapy is very important. You need to go into bed only when you feel sleepy, not just tired, not just you are tired and you lie down on the bed and then scroll on the phone. That does not work. If you're still awake after around 15 minutes or even half hour, you feel like you cannot fall asleep, and then you leave the bedroom, you read something boring on paper under dim light, then you return to bed only when the sleepiness returns. So if you're sleepy, go to bed. If you are not sleepy, leave the bedroom, go to somewhere, read something boring. Over 1 to 2 weeks, your brain can learn that, oh, the bed is the place you go to, you sleep, where you sleep is happening. So don't fight, don't check. If you wake up if you wake up 3 a.m. and do not look at the clock, knowing the time triggers calculation. Oh, only 4 hours left before I need go to work. The worst thing is grabbing your phone. So do not grab our phone. But a lot of people, it is super difficult for most of us. After wake up, the first thing I think many people think is grab the phone, check something, but this kind of habit will immediately disrupt the circadian or in our brain because of the light plus the content, the interesting and excitement in the phone both will push us fully awake. So we can use some breathing practice or use vagus nerve stimulation, the sleep mode for 10 to 20 minutes, then and also apply the 15 minutes rule I just mentioned. So if so in to in general or to conclude, we don't decide when we sleep. Actually, our circadian window does. These 10 practices don't force us to sleep. They are align us with the biological window where sleep happens on its own. So we are not forcing ourselves. But if we still need help, even though we try very hard on these 10 things, we try very hard to build this habit, we still cannot pull it kind of the trigger, it is the brain is still click, still cannot have the moment of falling asleep. So what Xenoware taVNS can do, and I still need around 4 to 5 minutes to introduce the Xenoware taVNS a bit, in case some of you guys are new to the webinar, because this contents have been covered in our last webinar. So I will just try to briefly introduce the content a little bit. So how does taVNS, the transcutaneous auricular vagus nerve stimulation, can help us sleep? So it can shift our autonomic balance towards parasympathetic activity to slowing the heart rate, lowering our arousal level. It can also regulate our arousal, hyperarousal in our brain network. The one important brain network is called default mode network. It is also can regulate the neurotransmitter that may contribute to sleep. And the transcutaneous auricular vagus nerve stimulation technology is through the ear. So we have very rich vagus nerve branches underneath the skin of the ear, mainly in the Simba and cava country area, and also some part of the tragus. So by using the electrical pulses to the ear here, it can regulate the vagus nerve and related system. So it is non-invasive, well tolerated. And so how does the research say about taVNS and sleep and insomnia? Actually, there's a systematic review and meta-analysis has gathered all the information, showed the positive effects of taVNS on the chronic insomnia by improving the latency, duration, efficiency, and overall quality. Well tolerated with very minimal side effects. And this is a study conducted by one of our collaborators called Professor Rongpei Jing. It is published in 2024. Actually, it showed 20 weeks of the sustained effects of taVNS for insomnia. So the final two slides, I think for today's webinar, and thank you for all of you guys' time and you guys' passion and you guys' trust. I think three things I want all of us to remember. Sleep is a moving baseline, actually. Do not focus on one number on one day. Focus on the trend. Focus on the improvement and the changes. There's no correct number of hours. Our trend over weeks is the real signal for us. Great sleep is multidimensional. It has different kind of feature score. The score of sleep actually contains different kind of indexes or the features. And also, through good sleep, our mood, our cognition, our stress, our gut, our mental health will all be improved. All of them are interconnected with each other. The most important part is we need to understand that in terms of obtaining a good or great sleep, we need to track ourselves in daily life, subjectively track sleep features. We need to understand after sleep, what is the feeling? Do we feel restored or refreshed even after 8 hours? Or wear something if it is available every night to capture our own baseline and then watch the trend, not just the score. And then try to understand what kind of things we haven't done enough in our daily life to help us, whether it is late coffee, stressful week, or the bad room temperature or room environment, not enough sunshine in the morning. All of these kind of small things actually can contribute to bad sleep. If we do everything, I'm not saying right, but if we do small things, build step by step, I think we can see the improvement after integrating all of these mini practices into our daily life. We just remeasure, retrack, reevaluate to build the awareness in order to have the improvement. So just be patient, and a lot of changes happen after 1 to 2 weeks to show in the trend. So thank you for all of you guys. So the final question is, what does a great sleep mean to you? And what do you do for a great sleep? So that is the end. That is the final slide for our webinar. And then I think the next part is the 15 minutes Q&A. So the conversation of our user or our community member. Our user or our community member. Hi, Thomas.
Hello, Jane. You can see me?
I can't hear you.
Jane, you can see me? You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay, fine. Now you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay. So glad to see you here in this live event.
Yes, glad to see you again. So happy to see you again.
In this live event.
Yes, glad to see you again. So happy to see you again.
Yes, and my question to you, Dr. Jane, is about the intense use of the vagus nerve stimulation. My question to you, Dr. Jane, is about the intense use of the vagus nerve stimulation.
Oh, Thomas, there may be some echo here. Wait 1 to 2 minutes. Maybe I'm trying to solve the problem of the echo sound.
I go out from my computer that I am only connected with the smartphone. I think this would be the solution.
That's nice. Thank you. Yes, I think that is working. So I think that the intensive one you mean accumulative stimulation of vagus nerve of taVNS. You mean similar to the Stanford TMS solution. For example, if people have the 1 week protocol, 2 sessions per day, then just do it one day. Do you mean that? Or the paper, I remember this paper mentioned that, I think last year published, mentioned that for one group, they do 3 days, 3 sessions per day, and the other group, they do 9 sessions one day. Do you mean that?
Yes, so I started to make more sessions during the day. I started with about 5 to 6 sessions, and now I have about 8, sometimes 9 sessions daily, because I figured out that it helps me to downregulate my sympatheticus, and that helps me to improve my communication, according to Dr. Stephen Port's polyvagal theory.
Yes.
And when I have my work day and I work the half day without doing this vagus nerve stimulation, so the last 2 hours, there I feel that my social interaction skills downgrease, and to be in a good level, I have now an appointment with my chef that I can make a break during work to do this vagus nerve stimulation. And since then, I feel that it is going better through the whole day when I make each 3-4 hours one session.
I see.
But also when I make an intense level, then it's too much over the whole day, and I get headache. And now I start to reduce the intensity. For me, it seems that this is the solution, that I make more often these sessions, but not so high intensity. So a little bit, yes, with more respect to my nervous system, and to take care about the response of the nervous system. So that I start to figure out there is an interaction when I do this vagus nerve stimulation with my vagus nerve, and it's as a relationship that I'm starting to building up with it, and this should be maybe more in love than because in the beginning maybe I was a little bit not so happy to figure out how much I was
how many
out.
times in total I mean, how many sessions in total you used per day? How many sessions in total? How long in total?
Between 8 and 9 sessions.
Okay, that is the number that in that paper. I'm not sure whether you write that paper or not, but you just hit the number of that paper. It is the paper published last year in, I forgot the journal, some journal related to neuromodulation. And they use 9 sessions. They apply 9 sessions to the patient for depression and anxiety. Just one day, 9 sessions, half hour per session. Yeah, if I remember correctly. And from that paper, they observed the reduction of anxiety and depressive symptoms measured by some questionnaire scales, such as the GAD, this kind of depression-related scale. So they didn't observe some long-term side effects. But you mentioned that you got some headache, right? I remember also in the West Hype we had previously.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now it has gone. So since I reduced the intensity, so the headache, they have gone. So I only increased the intensity until I start to feel some smooth signal, and then I go back maybe 1 or 2 steps, so that I feel close to nothing.
Mhm.
But it still works. The vagus nerve stimulation, and it down regulates my sympatheticus, but without have a strong feeling. And before
Mhm.
I did like when there is a strong feeling, and it makes a little bit, yeah,
Mhm.
something that I
Okay,
can
before
intensively
Thomas,
feel.
Before we move forward, could you introduce yourself a little bit? What kind of uh, reason that actually brought you to Xenowell? I think the audience here would love to know you a little bit, yeah, and why you want to use this kind of accumulative taVNS. So yeah.
Yes, so uh, there are many issues where I use it. So one point is that I have a stressful time in my life since several years, and this is not so good for my cortisol level, and the whole uh, balance of these hormones in my body. And on
Mhm.
the other hand, there is also the topic of the neurodiversity, which I have to handle, and so it helps me to uh, improve my cognitive function, for example, to focus better on my tasks, and the most important thing for me, what I figure out, is to improve my social interactions abilities. And as Stephen Porges explains with his vagus nerve theory, the system of social engagement cannot work when we are in a stress modus, in this fight, flight, freeze response. And so my nervous system is maybe a little bit too sensitive, and in this modern environment, in the workday, with all these signals and noises, they are in this work atmosphere. It's maybe too much for my nervous system, and then I need something to regulate it down, because it's otherwise I stay always in this stress level. And
Mhm.
here I see the big change since I use this VNS.
Yeah. Yeah, I also want to add a little bit more is actually Thomas, last time we met in Zurich, we finally met with each other and talk all the observations you had with the device and also the research you have been doing on the anxiety of ADHD and all the symptoms. And I also learned a lot from your experiences that the things I can't learn from research or from the papers. Yeah, all the all the all the figures or the numbers you put in your document actually also encouraged us a lot. In terms of the intensity you mentioned, I know that you actually wrote down every intensity you used for every session. So basically, what how strong you use for the 8 to 9 sessions every day to help you with the conditions.
Yes, I reduced the intensity in the last 2 weeks. So before I was mostly in a range between 20 and 30, and and now I'm much more in the range from 12 to 20 than above.
Yeah. And how long have been using the device so far in total till now? How long?
Since a bit more than 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And before I used another vagus nerve stimulation product 1 month before
Mm-hmm.
I got this Zenovel Luna, and this was not so intense and only with one modus, with a clip on the tragus and no gel, and so the signal came not so good to the vagus nerve. So with the Zenovel Luna, I can much more target and specifically make this stimulation. So for me, it's the best solution I found at the
Thank you
moment.
for that. Thank you for that. Actually, in terms of the intensity you just mentioned, about 10, let's say about 10, within the 10 to 20, within the level, actually the intensity level is commonly used in a lot of research or a lot of papers. It is within the, I call it a safe range. But for the accumulative or intensive sessions you tried on yourself, I think I don't recommend this kind of try and error to other people, because so far only one paper mentioned that, or one paper actually did this kind of trial, this kind of clinical study on depression and anxiety patients, compare the accumulative or intensive taVNS session per day versus 3 days. So according to the study just did in one day, there's no long-term side effects reported, but they haven't tried they didn't do the long-term follow-up, and they didn't ask the patients to do the intensive taVNS session for multiple days continuously. So Thomas, you need to pay more attention on the situation you on the sessions you are trying, and try to aware what's happening in the body and what's happening in the brain. That is my answer to you. And in terms of the results from that paper related to depression and anxiety, they do found that for this kind of accumulative or intensive taVNS session per day showed similar results for consecutive 3 days. So one day, the results similar to 3 days. 3 session times 3 days, similar to 9 session per one day. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this.
Later, I can share. I will send you the paper. It's a published in 2025. Yeah. Later,
Yes, please.
I send you the document.
Yes,
And
please. That
I
would
think
be quite
Rebecca,
interesting.
I think Thomas is already. I think it's already 15 minutes, right? Yeah. And
Thank you
Thomas,
so
thank
much
you very much for joining
for
this
the time.
beautiful session, and thank you for your question. And it's a very interesting question, and you definitely is a researcher, because I know you are always doing research on yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, someone has to do it because there is only the potential they recommend for ADHD treatment or autism,
Mhm.
and there is no guideline how to treat. So we have to
Yeah.
figure out this.
We are working on that. We will be working on that. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much,
See you
Dr.
next
Kane.
time. Yeah, let's talk. Let's keep in touch in WhatsApp. Let's talk in WhatsApp. Yeah. So I
Thank
need
you.
to go to the FAQ session. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Nice to see
Bye.
you. Bye bye. Okay, so the next part is Q&A session. So before Q&A session, I would love to share two big news to all of you. The first one is after my last business trip or my journey to 3 countries and many cities, I met so many doctors and therapists and also users. And we came up with a unanimous idea about why not we build a platform. Because for me, although I'm the co-founder and the chief scientist of Xenowell, but for me, I'm also a researcher working in institute, part-time in an institute in the Zhejiang University. So from the researcher perspective, I'm also a loyal user of taVNS technology or vagus nerve regulation technology or different kind of practices. The purpose is I would love to invite you guys to join a vagus nerve community. No matter you are a scientist, doctor, therapist, or a user, please join our vagus nerve community because I don't want only my voice to be heard by all of you. I want you guys, the voices of you, of doctor, scientists, therapists, practitioners, and users can be heard from each other. So we are building this platform, and our team, the research team or the support team will send all the vagus nerve community related information in our WhatsApp community. And Xenowell will only be the sponsor of this vagus nerve community. So Xenowell and other industry partners will help this community to build the infrastructure and build to support the events or support different kind of activity of the community in order to let more people know more about the technology, the frontiers research, and the experiences of using the technology to talk to each other. So that is the vagus nerve community, the news. The other news is for Xenowell, from the company from Xenowell, for us, our R&D team, we has been working very, very hard, and we are about to launch our new product. And welcome to join us in this WhatsApp community or WhatsApp group, and we will randomly pick, select the community member and to send our new products to you to help us to provide comments to us to be the testers of the new products. Just join the community, join our community, join the discussion, and we will provide some free gifts of the new products for you. So that are two news I would love to share. Yes, it is a special giveaway in our community tonight. Please just join our community and just take part, just join the discussion. And also you can write down what is your expectation for the new products, what you want, what in your mind you would love to have more from Xenowell taVNS, or even from the tracking, understanding, and improving this platform, because we are also building our own tracking system and also our own understanding system by combining wearable and the AI agent and vagus nerve stimulation. We are putting all of them together in order to help us in daily life to improve sleep with mini practices and taVNS, and reduce stress, and also help with the recovery by combining three components: tracking, understanding, and improving. So how do I draw? You just scan the QR code here to join the community. The QR code on the right upper corner here. There's join us here. There's QR code here. Yes, that is a AI product, and it's a hardware plus software AI product. It is combining the tracking with understanding through our own algorithm and LM, the big model, in order to help you to locate, to help you understand yourself better, to aware what kind of things in your daily life actually let you sleep bad, let you manage stress not as expected, let you have bad or not very good GI function, or to help you to better what kind of things may trigger your headache, to let you understand your own conditions or your own wellness better. And then after you can understand all of these kind of small, I call it small things or tiny or some triggers or factors in daily life, then we can do a lot of behavior. We can do our own mini CBTI for ourselves. Is kind of this kind of process. Then we know, for example, let me give you a just use sleep as example. I know so many people actually focus on before bedtime, what kind of things they can do in order to fall asleep faster or to get good sleep quality. But a lot of people just missed the things they can do in the morning in order to get good sleep. For example, in the morning, didn't just don't have the habit to enjoy the sunshine, just don't have the habit to don't have the good habit of drinking coffee. So this kind of small things actually influence sleep. We it's not like we cannot we cannot control or change this kind of things. It is because we haven't aware that the sunshine in the morning actually contribute to the bad sleep in the evening. So that is the purpose of this AI product. And also in the AI product, it will help the data tracked and also the algorithm built behind will help us to personalize and to help us to find a good vagus nerve stimulation protocol for you. For example, for sleep improvement, there are a series of protocol or parameter settings actually have been tried in the clinical studies. Originally, we only select the parameter that has been used most frequently in the studies, but there are still some other studies. For example, if you are an Asian people, will it be good for you to try the parameter actually published in a paper that recruited Asian participants, or from the parameter that published in a paper actually recruited Caucasian chronic insomnia participants? So we want to personalize a parameter for you in order to help you better use vagus nerve stimulation technology to help you solve the problem better, to help you support you to solve the problem better. So how about the yes, you can find it on Google, vagusnervecommunity.org. Okay. Okay, so I just mentioned why I choose these parameters specifically, because in the I call it a research market, there are several sets of parameters. One is the parameter of 4 hertz and 20 hertz we chose, and there are also several other parameters. The reason is simple. This parameter has been used most frequently in their studies. And also it is the parameter actually used by Professor Rongpei Jing, the professor I mentioned, our collaborator actually for a long time. She is a expert in taVNS. She also used this kind of parameters on patients. So both from the clinical studies and also from her own experiences, combining 4 hertz and 20 hertz and with the pulse width is the current parameter we chose. And also for 20 minutes, 20 minutes is a little bit tricky, I would say. Originally, we want to make it, to set it as free for it, because different kind of studies may use different kind of timing. They are 30 minutes, they are 40 minutes. So we set it as 20 minutes. Is from a lot of users report feedback. Some of them, a group of the users actually can experience the change within 20 minutes. And for the users who cannot see the changes, actually we also have the protocol, or we told them that they can do it twice. So we want to make it as simple as possible to not do not provide too much burden on our users. We don't. So there is always the updates of the protocol. Originally, we set it, the users can change the timing, because nowadays users always use ChatGPT to look into or different kind of AI tools, look into the papers. So they notice that some paper use longer time, but a lot of users don't know how long they should use. So with the feedback from the users and also the information gathered through the research, we put it as 20 minutes for the session. And also on top of that, there's a small reason is that we did a questionnaire. Actually, we did a questionnaire to send a questionnaire to many people on Facebook or through Google. We ask, if you want a device, you want it before bedtime to help you fall asleep, how long you can wait, how long is your patience to wait it to work? The time is not longer than 20 minutes. So nowadays people are getting less patient about a lot of things. So there's a small reason. It's also from the market, the voices from a lot of users. They wanted to set to 20 minutes. But we also tell all our users that you can also always use 1 or 2 more sessions after 20 minutes. Okay. Oh, this is a interesting question. Using Luna since February 2026, my sleep RAM has increased. And for this user, may I ask how low is your HRV? How big is the change of your HRV? Or is it systematically just like a slope going down? RAM has increased. So is RAM increased to a good direction or bad direction? Because just like the in my presentation I mentioned earlier, there is a range of the RAM is about 20 to 25% for the REM stage. So is your REMs originally quite low percentage increased to a good direction, or is it even higher than 25%? That is the first question. For the HRV has lowered, because HRV is kind of a very complex feature. If I would say, I cannot be 100% sure that the sleep mode or even all the modes that can boost all people's HRV, or even or on the other end, or lower users HRV. Because I think long time ago I even wrote a very long blog of that. There are so many reasons that may influence HRV. For example, before bedtime, I ate carbs. I ate different kind of carbs. It can shift my HRV a bit. So that is some explanation I can have. But if you are talking about if you consistently use sleep mode and you tracked the HRV and found that every time you use the sleep mode or consistently after 2 or 4 weeks, the HRV just keep going down, then my recommendation is please stop use sleep mode and you can try to switch to relax mode a little bit, because relax mode is also helpful to help the mind to calm down. Just like I said earlier, for us, we are still working on to explore, to investigate what can be the optimal parameter or the protocol setting for individual. So if you have been using it for 4 to 5 months already, and you consistently found that your HRV just kept going down, stop using it. But if you observe your REM increased to a good direction, then it makes the story or make the explanation even more complex. And from 22%. But may I ask, do you have, is your HRV originally good, or the reason you want to use sleep mode is to help with what kind of sleep difficulty you are dealing with? Or if you, because so far it's quite difficult for me to explain the things for your case. I found it very interesting, but I would like to have in-person discussion with you about that. There's one study mentioned about some HRV of some the influences of taVNS on the HRV of depression patients, and they split the depression patients into two groups. The original very low HRV group, for example, even low to 20 milliseconds measured by RMSSD, and also high group, they found that the taVNS only work for the original low group. So there's some that kind of explanation. But in terms of your case, I found it quite interesting, and I would love to talk to you in person. Yeah, please forgive me that for me at this moment I cannot have very concrete explanation given the numbers you sent to me. It can also be there some outlier data or individual data for you to individualize all the variation of the data, similar, just like I cannot if I put in this way, for the research, we always have a group of data. For example, if we have 30 participants data, we always have some outlier. I can, if I want to use that as some example, maybe your data can be some individualized outlier, can be that case. But from the parameter perspective, my recommendation, or if for me, I would like to have you try the relax mode for 1 week if you still want to try it out. Yes, let's get in touch on WhatsApp. We with the dream. It's also very interesting question. Actually, it's not, you are not the first one to ask that. It reminds me of a user story, very early user story. The lady actually, she's German, but she stayed in US for many years, and she actually sent us email. She sent email to Joe, to the the founder of Zinowell, Joe, because Joe spent 10 years in Germany, and she told Joe that I haven't had a dream for 42 years, and I think this kind of um, this kind of product that carried German genetic or German features, this kind of gene product brought me dream. After 42 years, I haven't had any dream. So from the, or even from research perspective, they also reported the, if from PSG data, the REM stage will be increased, which means it can influence the dreaming during sleep. So if you are talking about you are having a lot of vivid dream, does that happen every day? Every day you use Luna for the whole month, or just several days in 1 month? So that is one thing I would love to ask. And then, is that normal? Uh, so it is super difficult to define what is normal, what is not normal. In order to understand that, then what you can do is, first, I'm not sure whether you have wearable or not. You can track your sleep time, especially the REM stage, to see whether the product has changed your REM stage, the percentage of your REM stage. And then another thing is, you can start to do some journal of the vivid dreams to see what to, after you have the vivid dream. Actually, very interesting part is, a lot of vivid dream just just don't come from REM stage actually. So basically, what you can do is, you write down, you try to track your REM stage, the percentage, and you try to do some journal about the vivid dream to track it consistently, and to see after 1 or 2 weeks, to see what are the changes, and to have the awareness of this vivid dream. And I would love also to talk to you about the changes. And is it normal? I would like, I'd like to tell you is, some other users also share similar experiences. So it happened, not abnormal. Yeah, every day. Great, great. So for the, then, just heads up, for the intensity, if you, for the first 1 or 2 weeks to try to test or experience the product, you can try to Increase the intensity to a comfortable level. Do not push it too hard. And to be patient about the comfortable level. Do not, because intensity does not positively or linearly correlate with the effects or the efficacy. I cannot call it efficacy, with the effect of the taVNS on sleep quality or on the sleep or on the time, the latency of for sleep. So be careful, just be patient and be cautious of the intensity. If you feel some negative, if you are trying their products for 1 to 2 weeks and you didn't observe the effects as expected, you can try to contact our support team, and my colleagues are very actually they will tell you how to do the adjustment um in order to get closer to the expected results. I think for 2 hands and 4 paws, I think your user story is very interesting and I would love to hear more about that. Because so far for the research in this field, it's still not very rich, or for the information we can obtain from the participants or from the patients in the lab, still limited. It would be easier just let them to fill in the Pittsburgh questionnaire, or let them to do PSG before and after the intervention. So that is easy study to do. But individual cases are varying. So each of us is different, and each of user journey would be a bit different. Okay, so I think, and we're about to end. And thank you for joining today's session. And if you have further questions, please join us in the WhatsApp community. I'm there, and I will always be happy to hear your story, hear your experience, and answer your questions, answer your concerns. Try my best to answer your concerns. If I cannot do that, I will bring in more resources or more professionals or the therapists or doctors or scientists on board to help us to co-build the community and help more people to understand the technology. I would also to welcome all of you to join the vagus nerve community and to help us to unlock the potential of vagus nerve stimulation or vagus nerve regulation, not just taVNS technology. I'm talking about all the vagus nerve regulation, all the practices we can do in daily life, and also to unlock other wellness related mini practices we can do, to share your own mini practices with other people, to help other people to observe their life, to observe the changes and the improvements in their daily life. So welcome to join our community. And also the last news is just to join the community to get the free giveaway gift for our new product. Help us to test it out. We are waiting for your feedback. No matter positive and negative, just give us your feedback and your expectation, your more expectations from XenoWell. Thank you for today. Thank you for your time. See you next time. See you in our next webinar.